Hi, you're listening to Kate Palmer from sparkletart.com. Hi guys, I just thought that I would show you how I'm going to make some really cute little paper poppies just for a journal page that I'm working on. I'm using my Lindy's Stamp Gang Colour Shots test page as the backdrop for this journal page, and I'll show you a bit more about the colour shots in another clip. I've drawn some flowers on here and coloured them in with colour shots. I've left this dry, and this will be the base for my journal page. I've started off with a vintage dictionary page. You could use anything. And I've folded the paper in just little sections, and I have torn out a roughly half circle shape. So we end up with these flat little shapes here. So I've got a whole bunch. So I'm going to add some acrylic paint dabber. This one's in Snowcap. You don't want to cover up everything. You just want to add a little layer of paint here. Clean off the cap to make sure that there's no yucky stuff left on there. I'm giving these a really quick blast with the heat gun to make sure that they're dry. Now I'm adding some Lindy's Stamp Gang Starbursts. The colours I'm going to be using are California Poppy Gold and Poinsettia Red Gold. So I'm just going to spray these with the California Poppy Gold. So if they're curling up like mine are, you can just sort of stick them down by putting them in a puddle of the Starbursts underneath. Now I'm going to add a little bit more of the California Poppy Gold because I'm hoping to give them sort of little yellow and black centres. And then I'm going to add the Poinsettia Red Gold around what would be the edges of the poppies. Now this one has a dabber cap, so it's going to make my life pretty simple. Just prime the cap and go around the edges here. See how easy that makes it? I can always add another layer if these are not dark enough, but I'll only know if they're dark enough or not by drying them off. Now because I've got that paint dabber on the back, they will be much paler than they would normally be. You could absolutely do this without the paint dabber for much more vibrant colours. Now you see how they're kind of ruffling up at the edges from drying with the heat gun? You definitely want that to happen. Now as they start to dry, they'll lift off that paper and start to blow around. At that point, just sort of pick them all up. I'm adding another layer of colour because these aren't dark enough for me. Flip the flowers over and spray the other side with the same colours. And for good measure, a little bit more of the beautiful red or Poinsettia Red Gold. And now I have poppies in a pale shade. This was the side where I applied the white paint dabber and more vibrant colours. So now I have both. Now I'm going to make the stems. I'm starting with the same piece of vintage book page and cutting out a few little shapes that look vaguely like flower stems. Now that the poppy flowers are done, I'm going to do some stems, and I'm going to use Freaky Franken Lime. And now to top it off, I'm going to add a little of the darker Lucky Shamrock Green. And just like last time, quick dry with a heat gun. Alright, so the page that this is going onto is quite vibrant, but it seems to be developing a colour scheme of greens and reds. So that's what I'm going to use for my girl. She's going to be stuck on here somewhere with the hair billowing this way. I'm going to use the same vintage book pages as the base to draw my main figure. This will just lend the page a sense of continuity by using the same materials. I'm going to be using Prismacolor pencils to colour my figure in, and I'd like it to be nice and bright, so I'm just adding a layer of white Adirondack dabber over the top of the text and drying it before I start to colour. So this needs to be really nice and bright to stand up off that background. You can see I've added a tiny, tiny little bit of black to the edge of some of those poppies, just to make them stand out a little bit more. And I've used the chartreuse to blend on her dress so that it's as bright as possible. Now I've left those little bits of lace relatively white because I'm going to colour that in with my Copic Spicker pen. Alright, so I've coloured her little dress using chartreuse, apple green and dark green in the Prismacolors. I've coloured the little poppies in sunshine yellow, poppy red and crimson lake. And I've done her skin using peach, Daco peach and beige. I've coloured the hair using black Sumi ink. I now have a pretty little face with gorgeous black hair. And I've left that tiny little bit down the middle uncoloured for the part. And this is my finished poppy journal page. So I'll just give you a look at the poppies up close. This is what I've done with them. So I've put them on my very busy journal page using my fabulously gorgeous Lindy's Stamp Gang colour shots with a little bit of gesso over the top so that some areas are beautiful and sparkly and others are a little bit duller. And then of course I've got my poppies, which I've also done with my Lindy's Stamp Gang Starbursts. So not only do they have a beautiful, beautiful colour when you look at them straight on, but they have that lovely shimmer so that they don't sort of, the background doesn't detract from them at all. Now you can see that background shimmer that I'm talking about just here. Look at that purple bit. So, so pretty, really yummy. And then of course, because I've used the Starbursts as they are, so with water, the shimmer stands out a bit more. So you've got that yummy colour shot in the background and the beautiful Starbursts over the top. And I love the colours that I've got there. Now on the poppies, I've done something a bit weird for the middles. I've put a spot of black charcoal underneath with the charcoal pen, which I've then covered with glossy accents. Then I've added black soot distress stickles over the top. So you get this really interesting glossy sort of effect. I really love it. So this was of course my poppy page, and I've paired that with a really simple cartoon figure girl done in really bright colours on this side so that she stands out, because you've got to admit that background page is pretty busy. So I've outlined her in charcoal like I have with the poppy stems, and then I've used a nice little paper stump to blend it and soften it around the edges so that it really does make her stand out, but it doesn't overpower the image. Now I've given her jet black hair so that it really draws the eye, and you'll notice that all of her clothing is coordinating with the poppies. So I've got the red from the poppies, the green from the poppy stems, the black from the poppy middles, and I've given her the same sort of little coloured eyes and little shoes. So I'll just give you a closer look at the face here. Now I've done the hair in black ink. The reason her face looks a little bit dirty is because I've actually done this entire thing over the top of a piece of dictionary page. Now you can see that really clearly on her dress, but I've added a little bit more of my white acrylic paint dabber onto her face, just so that her skin colour is a bit paler. I do like the way those eyes have turned out. Now, as I was saying when I was actually creating these poppies, I've left them so that their edges are not stuck down. They're actually standing up from the paper bit. Now, one of the things I love most about poppies is that really crinkly, soft feeling. And I've got to say, I'm so pleased. The paper feels a lot like a poppy flower. Because it was dried with the heat gun and re-wet several times, it's got that sort of soft, crinkly feel, just like a real poppy would have. Now, so that I don't get any of my shimmer coming off, see, or any of the charcoal, which makes a real mess, I've given this entire page a squirt with workable fixative, which means it doesn't make it matte, it doesn't make it glossy, it just puts a little coating over there so that you can keep working. You can draw on top or whatever you want, but it just means that none of the charcoal will move. Now I've left a few of these little spots here. I drew a few circles to highlight little bits of the background, just that I found interesting. And I've purposefully left these really nice and bright and put a little charcoal around the edge just to highlight them a bit. I really like the way that they turned out. So, a bit of a busy page this one, but using my beautiful products from Lindy's Stamp Gang. And this one is There Once Was a Girl Who Loved All Flowers. And up and down the flower stems I have what I like about different flowers, just for something a bit different. See you next time. Thanks so much for watching and have a wonderful day. Bye.